It's so crazy, like I feel so behind every day. Here we go. I did spend a good portion of this pre-stream laying on the floor, staring up like, dang, I'm really tired. So I had a good like 7 minutes of that. But now I'm ready. So I did do a little warm up. I'm gonna just try to get one again. He said something as ridiculous as opening YouTube chat. Para, you just gotta go with it. They have a kappa. Let's see if Para can find the kappa emote. Or emoji in this case. There's a kappa. So, I mean, that's pretty much all you need, yes? Debatably. It takes everything in me to get up and do this. But then I think about my progress and I'm like, oh, do I really want to miss out on an entire day of progress? And it actually works. I mentally get myself. I'm just opening the gate, closing the gate, opening, closing, opening, closing. Keep looking at me like, why? I know. Thank you. Yes, I love you too. I love you too. He be very distracting. Hold on. I want to find my socks. I only seem to see one. Okay. I'm halfway there, basically. Like a bucket of clothes. And I think I already took all the socks from it. Oh. No. Where are my socks? Oh. Yes. Okay, socks. Okay, what do we stream on YouTube? So, in the mornings or very early afternoons, yeah, we get socks. We do our split stretches because we out here about to be mad flexible. Oh my gosh. Okay, but you didn't tell me there was a hole in the sock? What? My goodness. Oh. On another sock. And I also do my piano practice here. We are on the journey of becoming great there. I just posted my 50-day update, so that kind of shows how far I've come with that. Psych Sundays, we do our psychological sort of gameplay, so more obscure games, just ones that get you thinking, get you reflecting. And yeah, in the future, I'm doing a lot of live stuff here, but it's gonna go into more like vlogs, travel stuff, and some other stuff that I have in the works. Yeah, don't be telling Kiba what to do, first of all. Yeah, but you can go, baby. No. She's like peeking out the door. Alright, so I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna start with our standing forward bend. So we're standing and we're bending. You guessed it, forward. So remember with this, it's really important that we keep our back in line. We want to keep our shoulders back. We're hinging at the hips. We're not rounding our back. We're not rounding our shoulders, right? It's not about the aesthetic of like, I'm rounding so I'm further. We're slowly sinking into the stretch. So you should start feeling it in your hamstrings. And you're slowly, with your exhales, dropping your chest towards your quads, your thigh muscle. I'm gonna get the timer. Whew. So does anybody have an issue with like opening their calculator when they want the clock and opening the clock when they want their calculator? Okay, 1 minute where we're slowly dropping. Keeping our back in line, really engaging our hamstrings so we feel that stretch. Leaning forward on our exhales. More than halfway done. Control your breathing, especially if your chest is low. Slowly get out of everything. Remember, whether you've been here or not, remember we do not force our body into or out of anything. So the first thing we're gonna do when you hear the timer, you're adding resistance. If you're activating your muscles, relax, take away resistance, and then we slowly start taking our body out of that stretch. You never wanna shock your body into or out of anything. Okay, we're gonna go into our low lunge position. So, lunge position, I got my knee over my ankle and I'm gonna drive my hips. So I'm activating my glutes, meaning I'm squeezing and I'm driving my hips forward. So you're not gonna feel like, you're not gonna actually move, right? So I'm not like, oh, I'm driving my hips forward. No. You're staying here. You're mentally driving them so you feel that resistance. See, I feel it here all in my quad. Whew. You may feel it more in your glutes, you might feel it in your hamstrings. Just depends. So hold it here for 1 minute. I like to keep my hands here on the small of my back. You may feel better being here. Make sure you're actively driving your shoulders back for this. Activate. See, Zeus knows. He's getting out of bed right now to do these stretches with us. Yep. Oh my God, Alex. It's so funny because like, it's things like that like if my YouTube grew a lot, well, when my YouTube grows a lot and I can actually do the splits, they probably will go back and be like, even one of her VIPs said it. Like, she was totally faking. Little do they know, I've been as flexible as a pencil all my life. So you're actively driving those hips, so you should feel that resistance the entire time. Okay? Remember, the first thing, you're not driving your hips anymore. And then we're sinking out of it. So with this foot still outstretched, we're gonna lean back onto the opposite foot. And I have my toes pointed forward. for this stretch, I mean, don't mind my hand placement too much. It's mainly to hold my balance. Trying to drop my chest onto my quad. So if you are here, great. This is our half split pose. If you're lower, awesome. Oh my goodness, okay. We just out here, we trying to be as flexible as Violet from Willy Wonka. If that was her name. I always call her that. Alright, we're slowly dropping our chest. Don't mind my hand placement again, it's mainly for balance. This just works for me. I'm feeling this a lot in my hamstring. I have my toes pointed away from my body. I'm dropping my chest with every exhale. More than halfway done. Remember, we're not going forehead to knee. That's how you get back problems. We're dropping chest to quad. I'm slowly coming out of this. All right. So we're in this lunge position, right? We're gonna put our hands on the inside of our foot. This leg is stretching out. This is our lizard pose. If you're here and you're like, oh, I feel it in my hips, just make sure you're squaring your hips, drive them into the ground, and you're good. If you need to go onto your elbows, do that. Same thing. We're actively driving our hips into the ground. That's how you keep it active. Okay, 1 minute here. So I'm feeling that resistance in my hips. I'm driving them into the ground. I'm making sure this knee that's up is not falling out and away from my body. It's staying in the same position. More than halfway done. Control your breathing, especially when your chest is low like this. 10 more seconds. I'm really feeling this, so I'm not happy. All right, the first thing I'm gonna do to get out of this, I'm gonna raise my chest. I'm gonna slowly lean back like we're in our half squat. And then I'm bringing my heel to my butt. All right, bet. Make sure you guys are hydrating. Let me take a moment to do that as well. We have to do those 3 on the other side now. That's the best part. Repeating the entire thing all over again. All right. So our low lunge position. Just to add some cushion to my knee, I'm grabbing my mat. I'm folding it over. I'm gonna do this twice. This is just for added cushion. So if you have a mat, feel free to do that. If you do not have a mat, you can do that with a sheet, a blanket, pillow. Can't really fold the pillow, but you can put the pillow under your knee. Just to take off some of this force. All right. So we're in our lunge position. Remember, we're activating our glutes, so we're squeezing, and we're driving our hips forward. I like to keep my hands here. Remember, you can put your hands overhead. We're gonna hold this for a minute. actively driving our hips forward. If you are not actively driving your hips, you're probably not feeling any resistance at all. Remember, we're doing active stretching. So I'm actively feeling this in my quad. If I stop driving my hips, I do not feel it in my quad anymore. You may feel it in your glutes, your hamstrings, that's fine. Make sure you're listening to your body. Oh my gosh, Para. They have some, why don't you look at the YouTube bank of emojis? Yeah, see if anything calls out to you. Control your breathing here. Keep driving forward. Almost done. Okay, remember, first thing we do, we stop the resistance. We're going into our half split pose. Okay, so I'm inching this foot forward so I can lean back. I have my toes pointed away from me. Okay, and I'm squaring onto this foot. I'm trying to bring my chest down to my quad. I should feel this entire hamstring stretch. Oh my gosh, Para. I'm done with you. 1 minute here. So remember, my hands are just for balance. I'm still dropping my chest down slowly onto my quad, feeling that resistance, keeping my toes pointed away from my body. More than halfway done. Whew. 10 more seconds, really leaning on your exhales. You should never feel any pain with stretching. It might be uncomfortable, but no pain. Okay, slowly raising out of that. Going back to this lunge position, my leg out in front of me. I'm gonna put my hands on either side of the inside of my foot, on either side, on the inside of my foot. Actually, one moment, I'm gonna straighten my mat back out because I don't want this folded anymore. Okay, so we're back in this lunge position. My feet are on the inside of my foot. Oh my gosh, I'm too tired for this. My hands are on the inside. I'm straightening this back leg out. Now, if you're here, make sure your knee's not driving away from your body. Keep it strong and actively drive your hips down. So you should just start to feel that resistance without your body actually moving. You need to go down to your elbows. Let's do that. We're gonna hold for a minute. Remember, these are active stretches, so we're actively driving those hips down. So any hand adjustments I make is personally for my body, of what feels more comfortable when I'm sinking in. Feel free to make your own. If you felt more comfortable here, stay here. Driving those hips down, we're more than halfway done. I don't know why my left hip is so much tighter. 10 more seconds. Keep driving those hips down. Control your breathing. I'm raising my chest. I'm leaning back out. I'm bringing my heel around. Awesome, awesome. If I ever randomly go into child's pose, it's for my shoulder. Don't mind me. Oh my goodness gracious. So tired. Had to take your message out of prison. All right, we're gonna go into our half squat pose. So again, with the half squat, I've been doing it with my toes on the ground and with my heel planted. So you can do toes on the ground and heel up, but I keep my entire foot planted. So I have my foot planted, making this 90-degree angle. I have my toes pointed out and away from my body, so they're slightly facing behind. This arm is putting some pressure, not directly on my knee, but on my calf and my quad. I'm keeping my chest high, and with my toes pointing away, I'm feeling that resistance here. So, 1 more minute. So different points of resistance. We're pushing this leg away. We have our toes pointed out and away. Keeping our chest tall. If you need an added stretch, you can start rotating your trunk, looking away. And I'm feeling this all here. Control your breathing. All right, good job. So the first thing I'm doing, I'm dropping to my butt. I'm letting my leg hang out for a second as I switch. And I actually don't need my mat until we get to our hamstring stretches, so I'm gonna move this out of the way. Thank you so much, Jen. Yeah, I'm really excited for the end of today's stretch session, because we end with doing our splits poses. So I want to see how far I can go. Okay. So I have my foot planted. I have my leg out, toes pointed away. So out and away, out and away. This arm is putting pressure on this leg, not directly on the knee. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Thank you. Feeling this stretch all here. Yeah, and just to reiterate, guys, for anyone who's like coming in later or just dropping in, make sure you guys are warm. Do a little warm up, do some jumping jacks, do some marching in place, do some kickbacks, kick forwards. I'll show you guys what I mean. Before just jumping into stretches like these, you definitely want to have a warm body. Okay. Keep that resistance here. Remember our resistance points. This leg pushing away, these toes pointed out and away. Good job. Let me just take a pause. So, this is what I mean. You can march in place. I just have my hands coming in and out. Do butt kicks, same thing. You could do kickbacks, right? If you're about to do a cartwheel, but you're not. You're just putting your hands on the ground and kicking back. Kicking back. Let me do the other side because I'm like that. And then you can do your kick up. Oof. So just doing stuff like that can really keep your body warm, engaged. So now we're gonna go into our wide-legged seated straddle stretches. I know that sounded long. Basically, you're sitting with your legs wide in a seated straddle position. So bring our legs as wide as we can make them. Swoop. Have my toes pointed out. But that's gonna change. So we're gonna start with our right side. So I'm a mirror for you guys, remember that. So if I'm going this way, you literally just follow my body. Or if you're like, well, maybe I wanna do the opposite, go for it. Okay, so this is really important. I always take more time to explain this one. When you're reaching for this stretch, you're reaching for your foot. We are not squaring on, right? We're keeping our chest open, reaching for our foot. This arm is going overhead. We're actively pulling this shoulder back so that it's not rolling. It should never be here. It's back. And we're only leaning as much as we can because we're stretching all of this. So if you're feeling a lot of resistance, you may have to wait here. And that's okay, you're getting that stretch. If you need to go more, then do that. And you're pulling on this foot actively the entire time. So you're getting that stretch here as well. Okay, so remember our points of resistance. We're pulling on this foot. We have our foot flexed as well. We're actively pulling this shoulder back so that our arm doesn't roll forward. And we're leaning towards this foot so that we're getting that side trunk stretch. We're holding this for a minute. Almost done. Slowly come out of that with all points of resistance in mind. So I did my arm, my trunk, my leg. Same thing, other side. Having to do the other side, I'm always okay, so same thing. We're reaching forward, driving the shoulder back as we reach our hand overhead. We're leaning to get that side stretch. We're gonna hold this for a minute. Remember, these are active. If you're not being active, you're not getting as much resistance as it could be, and your body's not gonna maintain its warmth. It should feel tiring. This side is a lot more flexible than the other side. Actively pulling that shoulder back, keeping my foot flexed. Move my body to the side. Control your breathing. Slowly come out of it. Oh my gosh. This is exhausting. Alright. So now, we're going to lean towards the middle. It's important that you have your toes pointed out and away from your body, right? So as we're leaning, you're creating that resistance, having them pointing away as you're leaning forward. Again, The goal is not to just round as much as you can. You're not trying to roll yourself into a ball. You can create a lot of issues with that. It can be a lot more painful, uncomfortable, create tension in a lot of bad areas. You want to drop your chest slowly onto the ground. The front to back one. The front to back one? Wait, what's the front to back one? So remember, with all these guys, it's really important that you're listening to your body. You should never be feeling any pain. And obviously we all have like our differences and just range of motion. So keep that in mind for yourself. I'm not there with you. But for all these stretches, I tell you the fundamentals because it's not about the aesthetic. If you're just looking at me and you're trying to mimic it, you can hurt yourself. Listen to the things that I'm saying. Like if I say reach here and put your arm over and you're like, oh, boom, be here. If you have to hold on to your calf and you just have your arm right here at this 90, boom, you're getting the stretch. The whole point is to feel that resistance for your hamstring, for this lat that runs down, and to release that tension on your shoulder. One leg forward, one leg back. Talking about the half split pose. Yeah, the whole point is that to go slow with everything. Like if you can't be here, then you should only be here. Definitely let me know, guys, real time, if you guys are trying it and you need a variation. There's a bunch of variation. Okay, this is important as well. Para. 1, did you warm up? 2, did you stretch beforehand? Did you do active stretching or dynamic stretching before throwing your body into a split? Oh my gosh. Please do not just throw your body into a split. Even me, like I do the splits at the end for a reason, right? I'm warm. I've been activating all parts of my legs and my hips and my trunk this entire time. I've maintained my warmth and then I go into it. You can really hurt yourself just being like, oh, let me see. So yeah, be careful, para. All right, so we're lowering our chest down to the floor. Oh, para, why do you say it like your age is some sort of reason as to why you don't stretch? I know a lot of people who stretch and are a lot older than you. If anything, you should stretch even more as you get older. Stretching is important. Maybe not particularly split stretches, but just like full body range of motion type of stretches, just for function, for general health. More than halfway done. Really leaning on your exhales. Remember, we're pulling our toes out and away, so creating that resistance. Okay. There you go. So what you're telling me is every morning when you do your stretches, you're about to try to do a split after? Oh. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm glad you take care of yourself. I'm glad you know. That's why I was surprised. I'm like, what do you mean? You don't stretch at all? Which, I mean, I've definitely been guilty of. Don't get me wrong. I know it can be easy to fall into the habit of just like not doing anything. But it is really important. Okay, so for this stretch, I have my leg bent. I have this 90-degree angle going, not an acute angle. I got this 90 going, and I'm squaring onto my foot. I'm gonna have my foot flex, and it's the same thing. I'm leaning my chest down onto my quad as I'm reaching for my foot. So let's get this stretch. I hate the feeling of hamstring stretches, I'm just saying. Lowering my chest, keeping this foot flex. This foot being flexed is gonna add the most resistance as you're dropping your chest. Control your breathing, especially if you're like me, where these positions kind of strain that. More than halfway done. Ten more seconds. Slowly releasing that resistance and coming up. Dang, no lie, anyone ever feel like they're breathing but they're not getting any oxygen? Like, I'm like, am I pretending to breathe? I can feel my lungs expanding and, you know, taking in air, but I don't feel any oxygen processing. I yelled at you. Oof. Nah, I just wanted to make sure you're warm, not covered in baby poop and avocado, trying it out. See, that's so nasty to think about, because it could potentially be the same color. It reminds me of those movies when, like, there's like a stain and they're like, is that poop? And then they just lick it and they're like, oh, no, it's not. It's like, well, what if it was? Okay, so I'm squaring onto this foot. I have this foot flexed, and I'm slowly dropping my chest, reaching out for this foot. But yeah, I just don't want you to hurt yourself here. I just want you to be warm. You said your hip almost popped out of place, so that just scared me. You know, I don't want you hurting yourself. More than halfway done. I'm dropping my chest. Feeling this resistance. I'm flexing my foot, so pushing my heel away, pulling my toes towards me. And I'm slowly raising out of this. And the smell goes away. Yeah, good for you. You know, taking that momentum and turning it into something that can be healthy for you mentally and physically. That'll be nice. And it'll be nice to just go on family walks. Those are always refreshing. Just getting that fresh air and just the talks can be nice. Unless you mean just you in Baby Nora, because if that's the case, I don't know how much you guys would be talking. I'm sure you talk up a storm to her. I don't know if she's saying much back. But knowing Baby Nora, she probably is. Okay. So this is gonna be the same thing. You're reaching and you're trying to drop your chest down to your quads. Make sure you hold that resistance. We're still flexing our feet. 1 minute here. Oh my goodness, Para, jeez. I forgot about your health issues. Yeah, definitely things like that you guys have to take into consideration, you know. If you don't put yourself in a bind. "15 more seconds. I'm trying to drop my chest with my exhales. I'm driving those heels away from me, pulling those toes towards me. I hate hamstring stretches. I hate hamstring stretches. Move, slowly letting go of that resistance. Pulling myself back up. Ah, they're the worst. Okay. Let's keep our momentum going. I'm pulling my mat back out. So anytime you guys see equipment, right? You're gonna see a mat, you're gonna see a band, you're gonna see some blocks. They all have their purpose, right? They're not 100% necessary. They can be very helpful, but it's up to you whether or not you want to get that kind of stuff. You don't technically need it. So if you don't have the means to get it, you don't have to worry about it. If you do, it can be very helpful, especially the blocks. A mat, you know, like if you can double up on like sheets and things, just make sure you're not straining your back and your knees when you're laying on the floor. And so we're going into a reclined hamstring stretch. This is the only stretch that I use a band for. Depending on your flexibility, you may need to use a band for a lot more than just this. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do it with the band and without. Basically putting it on my foot. It's, for me, it's like right under where calluses would be. So you don't want it to be pulling directly on your toes. You also don't want it to be too low because our heel is going to be driving towards the ceiling. Okay, so we're laying on our back. This leg is outstretched. This leg is up. Okay, so I'm flexing this foot. I'm driving my heel up and I'm pulling my foot down and towards my face. Okay, so there's two motions going there. And the resistance is going to come a lot from you driving that heel up as you're pulling this down. You should start feeling that all in your hamstring. One minute here. Oh, and if you don't have a band, you can hold here. Or some people like to put one hand here and one hand on top of their quad to create that resistance. I'm driving my heel up, pulling down and towards my face. I just have my hand here to create that resistance so that my knee doesn't start to collapse. I'm never putting pressure directly on my knee. We don't want to do those things. 15 more seconds. Really pull on your exhales. We're driving that heel towards the ceiling. Okay, letting go of that tension. Just doing some circles. I do have to go back to do some other stretches after we stretch our hamstrings and before we stretch our quads. Just letting you guys know, if you've been here, you know I skipped something. So this leg is going to be straight. It's going to be the same thing. I'm actively driving this heel towards the ceiling, pulling this foot down and towards my face. If you don't have the band, remember you can grab here or you can grab like this. So 1 minute here. Just putting this resistance on my quad as well. Driving this heel forward. when you look and it's only been like 15 seconds. You have to change your grip if you're anything like me and you're slippy. I'm really pulling on that resistance, driving my heel away from my body. Driving, driving, driving. Oh, thank goodness, 5 more seconds. Almost done. Slowly let go of that resistance. Circling it out a bit. And now we're done with the band. If you are extraordinarily flexible, I was going to say stretchy, flexible, you may need the band for some other stuff, just for that added resistance. I will go over when you can use those. I'm sure you can use them in a lot of places, but there's one particular stretch that comes to mind. But for now, let's do our reclined pigeon pose. So we did a pigeon pose at the beginning. Now we're doing reclined, where we're on our back. One foot is going up, crossing over. I have my ankle on the outside of this quad. I'm actively driving this knee away from my body. Hand is going through the hoop, feet come up. Now this arm is coming around and I'm holding onto my shin, not on top of my knee. Again, we don't want to be putting force directly on our knees. I'm holding my shin. I have this ankle clasped onto the outside of this arm, and I kind of use my elbow to push my quad away so that I can really drive this crossed knee outside of my body. And once you're here, we're just slowly bringing this leg closer to our chest. You should feel this as it's a really deep hip stretch. Let me get the timer. Okay. We're driving this knee away. There's multi points of resistance. We're driving this knee away as we pull this knee towards our chest. Remember, we're not pushing or pulling directly on our knees. I'm on my shin right now. You should feel this in your hips. You may feel it in your glutes. You may feel it in your hamstrings. Control your breathing. Oh my God. 5 more seconds. Slowly let go of that resistance. I'm gonna uncross my legs. Rock it out a bit. Just rocking from side to side. Whew. 3 surgical options. I told them, I'll just lose the weight. I mean, if you can do it. It sounds good. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, if I'm gonna be quite honest, I think the weirdest part is people being weird about seeing other people stretch. So, especially just because they're a woman. Like, so what if I was a man? It would be different. Granted, yes, I understand that some people can be perverted about things, but I don't think that should be the norm when it comes to physical health and lifestyle. I think that mentality held me back a lot when I let those perverted sort of people kind of hold me back. This stuff is important for people's health, people's goals, for my health, for my goals, so I'm not gonna let that stop me. All right, I'm on my back, crossing my leg. I have my ankle hooked onto my thigh. Hand through the hoop, legs coming up. I'm actively driving this knee away from my body. This heel is hooking onto this arm, hugging my shins, and now I'm pulling towards my chest. So actively driving this cross knee away as I'm pulling this leg into my chest. Remember, be slow, it's a deep stretch. Okay. Pushing this leg away, pulling this knee towards my chest. More than halfway done. Really pull in on your exhales. You should not feel any pain. Feel a lot of resistance in my hip and my glute. 5 more seconds. Slowly letting go of that resistance. Uncrossing my legs. And I'm rocking it up. Nice. Good job, guys. So, I know that's not what she did. Okay. I'm going into my butterfly position. So butterfly position is my favorite position. And I forgot about it for some reason. I'm gonna move my mat away. I really can't stand the mat, but it comes in handy for some stretches. Okay, so I have my butt against the wall. I like to do my butterfly stretch against the wall because it simulates partner stretching, or it allows you to kind of get that same feel by pressing down. I'm pressing down on my quads, not on my knees. But pressing down, to get that resistance. And we hold our butterfly for 2 minutes. So really control your breathing. Keep your chest high and open. Really feel that resistance. If you found a good spot, take some breaths in it. On an exhale, try to push more. This is a good mix of you adding weighted resistance as well as gravity pulling down. Control your breathing, especially for these stretches that are longer. We have our chest high. Let's make sure we're doing our inhales and our exhales. More more seconds. You got this. If you need to just relax in this position, just hold that resistance that you have. You should not feel any pain. 10 more seconds. 5 more seconds. Okay. The first thing I'm doing, I'm letting go of the resistance. I'm still in this position. I let go of that resistance. I should relieve it a lot. I'm slowly kind of shaking my legs out, getting my hips loosened before I bring my knees together. I don't want to just shut my knees like a freaking book. Don't hurt yourself. If you really added that resistance, if you got that deep active stretch, you do not want to force yourself out of things. You never want to force your body into or out of anything. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad you and Amanda know. Yeah, and I feel like there just needs to, I don't know, be more normalization of things like this, and you know, it shouldn't be, I don't know, like, I think it's a shame when people's first thought is like, oh, is this gonna be provocative? It's like, you know, stretching, fitness, just workout type stuff, that shouldn't be people's first thoughts. Especially if people claim that it's not their own, you know, if they're like, well, I don't feel that way, I just, like, well, then don't normalize the people who do make everything perverted. Alright, so, but I will say YouTube is a lot more chill than Twitch. You want your knees in line with your ankles, your ankles. And what you're gonna do, this is frog pose. We're staying centered, right? You're not leaping like a frog. We're not trying to jump out of it. We're trying to stay centered. Driving our hips down into the ground. So you're not actually gonna move, but you are gonna feel that weight of yourself and gravity. Stay centered. Leaping forward, you're not gonna feel that resistance anymore. You're gonna kind of arch your back, you're getting in a bad position, and you're not getting the stretch. So stay centered, kind of tuck that tailbone, drive those hips down into the floor, and you should feel it all in your hips and groin. Yo, Para, don't be making me emotional, alright? I'm trying to be serious. This is fitness dolls. Okay, you feel your body needing to sink a little more. You can scoot your legs out to keep that knee and ankle alignment. Keep driving those hips into the ground. That's how we stay active. And do not sink. We're not trying to have a super arched back. We're trying to keep our back in line. That's why you see my hands are holding me up here. Driving. Yeah, Kool-Aid. So this is, it's supposed to be at 12, but I keep coming at 12:20. It's not a huge difference, but. Okay. Awesome job. I'm slowly getting out of this, slowly bringing my knees together. You can always rewatch one of the VODs. Day 6 is a really good one because I know I took a lot of extra time to explain the exercises. But any of the days, honestly. So if you're kind of like, oh, but I always get here like right after, or I don't wake up that early, or blah, 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 you can always rewatch it. But yeah, I am here live, 12 p.m. Eastern time, every day. Okay, so we're gonna go into our quad stretches. All right, anybody with knee problems? I don't even have knee problems, but I got knee problems, if you know what I mean. Like, my knees are mad sensitive, but I've never actually had a knee issue. I always just feel like I'm on the verge of one. So, the easiest quad stretch, well, in my opinion, that I've come across that's very light on the knees when you're standing. And we just lift up one leg. If you need to use a wall to maintain balance, and by all means do that. This is going to be pretty light on your knees. I will say for any quad stretches, when you're pulling your foot up, be mindful, like the way you're pulling your toes up, the angle of which you're holding your foot, this can all add strain and stress to your knees. So if you're like, it's a lot more comfortable, but I still kind of feel it in my knee, I mean, it's your discretion. Stop. You can consult your doctor. Or if you want to try just varying where you're holding your foot, where you're pointing your toes, that can make a big difference. It has for me in the past, especially when we do our other quad stretch. I'll reiterate. If you are in the stretch, activate your quad so you're squeezing it as we're pulling our foot up towards our butt. 15 more seconds. I lost my balance a little bit at the end, but yeah, slowly let go of your foot. Yeah, good luck with the homework, I believe. Okay, so same thing, other side, pulling my leg. Whoa. Okay, trying again. All right, pulling my leg up. So if I have my knee out here, it hurts. Yeah, I have to keep my knee tucked in. I'm pulling my foot towards me. And I'm being mindful. When I say listen to your body, I mean, does my knee hurt here? Do I feel any strain? Does it feel like it's being overstretched? Make that adjustment. Listen to your body. So, if you do want to try it, because I don't do this stretch, instead of standing up, you can lay on your stomach and do one leg at a time, or you can lay on your stomach and do both legs, the same kind of fold. Or you can lay on your side and do one leg at a time. Don't do both legs on your side. One leg at a time, it would be the leg that's on top. Okay, those are some variations you guys can do. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. I always say, that's what I aspire to be. That's what I hope to be. That's why I'm out here. That's why I put content out. I want to connect and inspire and just have a positive impact in people's lives in whatever way. And I don't know, I more and more want to share more of my journey with things to hopefully inspire other people to get on their own journey with things, whether it be the same goals or things completely different. So thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. Okay, so I'm folding this a lot because this next stretch, again, if you have knee issues, you may not want to do it. Because like whenever I do quad stretches, that's the most that I aggravate my knees, and I feel like I have to take it into consideration. When I say aggravate, I mean I can aggravate it. These don't aggravate my knees, that's why I chose them. So we're in this lunge position, and I'm bringing this foot up, pulling it towards my butt, and I'm holding. So if you need the wall for balance, great. If not, hold two hands. Yes. Okay. Okay, 1 minute here. We're activating our quad, that's our thigh muscle, so squeeze, 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 squeeze. You should not feel any pain. So if you are feeling any pain, stop, reassess. Whoa. I have no balance. Keep your chest tall. Control your breathing. Really feel that resistance in your quad. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna hold this wall. 15 more seconds. Okay, slowly dropping this foot. Okay, we're gonna switch. So this knee, this is my more sensitive knee. This is my more sensitive shoulder. This is my more sensitive knee. Okay, so same thing. We're in this lunge position. I got my knees and my ankles in line. Yeah, that's so creepy. I signed up for these text message alerts from, there's like this one company that they make very like reflective card games and stuff like that. I forget what they're called, but I signed up for their text messages where they'll just send you random, just like words of encouragement or wisdom or just things to reflect on. And I looked at my phone and it says, deep breaths, you got this. As I'm like, they're watching me. Hola, ACREP. Okay, so, sorry, I'm trying to find a comfortable position for my knee. Okay, so test it out by lifting your foot just a bit. I'm reaching back. Hold on, I got no balance. Okay, so I'm reaching back for this leg. Alright, I'm gonna press the play button. Goodness. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I don't feel bad on my knees. I found a good spot and I'm gonna stay there. After taking some breaths, I'm gonna lean in to add resistance. By lean in, I mean I'm gonna pull my foot closer to my butt. Remember, I should not feel any pain. You should not feel any pain. Nobody should be feeling pain. Breathing into it, adding more resistance, really activating that quad to get that tension there. Squeeze that quad. Okay, so dropping my foot. Jump. Okay. We're done with the mat. Okay. I'm so excited. We're almost finished. All right. Let me close my notifications because they bother me. Dang, it's a trap, ACREP. When you lose your rank, so you spend the next like 6 hours trying to get it back, only to go further away. Or sometimes you spend that 6 hours and you do get it back, but then it's like you just broke even and you spent all day playing. It'd be like that sometimes. Alright, so this is called Happy Baby. If you have a baby, you've seen babies, you know babies be mad happy, balls of fat. Mad flexible, eating their toes and stuff. So, basically, with this stretch, your feet are up, they're gonna be more than shoulder width apart. You're reaching inside of your knees, grabbing onto the arches of your feet, toes are coming on the outside, and you're just pulling down. So this is gonna be a lot of gravity, pulling down, and you're gonna feel it in your hips. Keep things wider than shoulder distance. Okay, happy baby. 1 minute here. So keep your feet flexed. In this position, it's like at first you're like, oh, okay. But then you're gonna realize that gravity is just gonna keep pulling you. So not only are you adding your weight, but gravity keeps adding more and more. So you're gonna feel it in your hips. Breathe through it. Or be like me and talk through it. More than halfway done. Yeah, kind of narrating what I'm feeling is very helpful. Very therapeutic mentally. Oh my goodness gracious. I hate hip stretches. I mean, I hate hamstring stretches, but hip stretches can be very uncomfortable, especially when gravity's pulling down. Okay, the first thing I'm doing, I'm letting go of that resistance. I'm keeping my legs here, bringing my toes together, bringing my knees together, and I'm gonna rock it out. Rock it out. Rock it out. Oof. Wonderful job. We have reached the final round. This is it. This is it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna do my splits. So we always end with attempting our splits positions. To recap, I started out, I'm dying, jeez. I started out here, right? I was this far off. And then I graduated to here, right? And then I graduated to here. And then yesterday I barely did this with left, right? I'm still here with right. I'm here with left. Straddle, I'm 4 feet away. But you know, it'd be like that sometimes. Oh, Alex, you're here just in time. So we're gonna try with it flat. Do we think right foot can do it? Anyone who does not have blocks. So the importance of blocks is that it helps you keep your hips squared, right? So you want to plop that cheek, whatever foot is forward, that cheek should be going onto the block. I'm not ready for it. So I could cheat myself. I would be not squaring my hips if I tried to sit on this, and that's not worth it. All right, so don't force yourself. You have to do it like this. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, like I still feel a lot of tension. So my toes are pointed. Same thing, I'm dropping my chest down, pointing my toes, really sinking into this stretch. Gosh, it's really hard for me to control my breathing when my chest is low and this much resistance. So be really cognizant of that. More than halfway done. Dropping my chest. Whew. 10 more seconds. Whew. Okay, I'm slowly raising my chest, bringing this heel down. Whew. Goodness, I feel tighter today than I did yesterday, which we would be like that sometimes. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Alright guys, the moment of truth. I better at least be able to do this. I'm about to be upset at myself. All right, leg. Don't let me down. I believe in you. We've gone through so many years together, and I've always believed in you. Okay, okay, okay. Hold on. Adjust, adjust. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, jeez. Oh my god. So much tension. Alright, a moment. I'm out here scared. I'm scared to be in this position. Alright. Okay. Keep your hips squared. Pointing my toes. Hips are squared. Shut up, Alex. Alex swears I can do a split. Driving my hips down. I have my chest leaning down onto my quad. Toes pointed away. I'm barely touching this block. Really controlling my breathing, keeping my hips squared. Whew, this is a lot. I'm more than halfway done. Whew. 5 more seconds. I can finally lean into it. God, jeez. Slowly raising my chest. Slowly bringing my heel. I'm exhausted. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. Oh my goodness gracious. Jeez. I was sweating. This is what I mean with active stretching. Like, that did not hurt at all. But there were so many different points of resistance that I was activating and really breathing into. That was exhausting. Wow. Alright, we're almost done. Do you guys hear them? These are our dogs. Every time they play tug of war. At some point, one of them will get distracted and just walk away. Yeah, I hope so. I potentially may take tomorrow off and just have a full day off, and maybe rest my body, because this is tiring. Very tiring. Okay. So we're going into our straddle position. Okay, so my blocks here. I pretty much use my blocks just to hold up my hands because your girl is mad far. My toes are pointed away from me. Once you're outstretched enough, you're gonna try to drive your hips centered and down, right? Because at some point you would want to sit centered on the ground. We're gonna hold this for a minute. Gravity is going to pull you. Do not fall out of this. We're driving our hips down into the ground. Make sure you guys are hydrating. Be better than me. my chest high, driving my hips down. More than halfway there. 10 more seconds. Okay, so I'm gonna slowly inch my body forward as I'm bringing my feet together. Ooh. Nice. Wow. My goodness, I've hit the point where like I finally saw a lot of progress, so now I feel impatient and I'm like, I just want to be there, I just want to be there, but you know, gotta be patient. Oh, where's Mom? I've been choking on the air this whole time. Last stretch. Excusez-moi. Alright, we're gonna do our wall straddle. So we're gonna drag our butt to the wall. Inching to the wall. Okay, spreading our legs, letting them fall out as much as they can. I have my toes pointed out and away, so I'm turning them out. We're gonna hold this for 2 minutes. So get comfortable, gravity will keep pulling on you. I'm actively pulling my toes out and away. A song. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, I'm homebound. Staring blankly ahead, just making my way through the crowd. And I miss you. No, I don't even know it. And I need you. And now I wonder if I could fall into the sky. Do you think time would pass me by? 'Cause you know I'd walk 1,000 miles if I could just save you tonight. There's always times like this when I think of you, and I wonder if you ever think of me. 'Cause everything seems wrong and it don't belong, living in a precious memory. I don't know the song. I'm like thinking back to when I was little and I used to watch the music video on TV, because there was like that channel that always played music videos, or you could like look it up, and her little piano just floated around. I don't remember it. And then I'm thinking of White Chicks, they only sing like one part. I don't know, but we're done, we did it. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna raise it a bit just to take off that resistance. Listen to your body, do not force it out. Slowly bringing my feet and my knees together. And I'm gonna rock it out. Rock it out. Oof. Go for the rock as much as you want. Hurrah. That was Vanessa Carlton for you guys. All right. So, if you followed along, you have officially finished splits, stretches, day 9. Now I'm gonna go into some full body stretches just so that we're all ready for the entire day. This is gonna be short. We're not holding it off for a minute. We're just listening to our bodies. We're gonna get, neck, shoulders, back, wrists, forearm. I'll probably do some glutes and calves as well. So let me start with that actually. So I really like this stretch. Basically, foot planted. And it's the same stretch that we did on the ground. We're doing a reclined pigeon. This one's just gonna be standing. So we're crossing over. I have my heel hooked on the outside of my quad. It's above my knee. And I'm sitting into it, right? So I'm flexing this foot, I'm sitting into it. You should start to feel this. Oof, whoa. Yeah, I feel this all in my hips. In my glutes. I kind of like stand with it there as well, just to really pop that back out. Remember, listen to your body, doing the other side. Sinking into it. Lord, you have deceived me. It's funny those doors open. Feel it in my hip, I feel it in my glutes. Just do a little calf. I have this arm, and I'm just reaching over. Yes, I am ready. I do have some session notes and things to do after these stretches, but I already wrote them. I just have to submit them. Ha 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 ha. How are you, Alex? How's the day going? Remember, feel free to just like sit in these as long as you want, as long as you need. Bringing this arm over. And I just do what my body feels. I'm not pulling on my elbow, I'm pulling a little before that. So remember with this, when we go up, your rib cage shouldn't be here, you should be pulling it down. Like you're not sucking in your stomach, you're like tucking into your belly button to pull that rib cage down. Light pressure on the side of our head, shoulders down and relax. Do not have your shoulders pinched up. Rotating, so we're looking into our armpit. Same light pressure, but it should change the stretch. Shoulders down and relax. Other side, shoulders down and relaxed. Looking into my armpit. Same pressure, different stretch. Shoulders down. Relax. Middle, over the base of my skull. I'm just putting light pressure. Gravity will do the rest. My shoulder blades are opened up. I'm just gonna go in circles. Relax. Relax everything. Other way. Okay, so I'm gonna go into shoulder stretches. Thumbs up hand position. Grab the archway of a door. Or if you have this jutting out like me, you can grab this. I have my facing away. And now I'm, opening my chest. So you're gonna feel this stretch in your shoulder. It's opening it up. Take some breaths here. Okay. Thumbs down hand position, grabbing the same thing. Now, here, and now I'm pushing away. Adjust myself because I don't want to be in a chokehold. I should feel this stretch deep in my shoulder. Really lean into it. Leaning your chest in. Really make it deeper. Listen to your body. Don't overexert yourself, especially if you don't usually stretch your shoulders. Okay, same thing other side. Thumbs up, hand position. I'm grabbing, facing here. Hello. Opening up. Okay, thumbs down, hand position. Now I'm here and I'm rotating out. I'm leaning my chest forward. Really lean into this shoulder stretch. Should not feel any pain. Okay. So now, pinky side of your hand on the wall, taking a few steps out. I'm a little wider than shoulder length. If you can get on your elbows on the wall, that's great. You just have to stay here. You're just extending as if you were holding a pull-up bar and letting your body hang. You're extending your shoulders out, leaning in. You can get onto the wall. You here, get that back stretch as well. Look to either side. Lay your palms flat. Really get into the stretch. So we're gonna pull up as if we're doing a pull up. Go back down. Be slow, listen to your body. You should not feel any pain. When I first had my shoulder injury, this was impossible for me. Okay. Awesome. Oh, it snowed? Well, I forget that. You're just in a whole different part of the world. Okay, arm out, hand here. We're adding that resistance, pulling back, not just on your fingers. You should get that palm as well. Get that resistance in your forearm. Depending on how tight your forearm is, you may feel it a little, you may feel it a lot. We're gonna flip it. Same thing, other side. See, I feel this a lot more than the other way. Just doing some circles. Other side. So I'm driving my palm away, pulling back. It's kind of like what we did with our strap when we were in our reclined hamstring pose. Okay, flipping. Same thing. Deodorant check. Okay, palms down. So when your palms are down, you're gonna want to rotate forward, do this half circle, all that resistance. Remember, it should not hurt. Flipping our hand. Now we have to lean back, do this half circle. Okay, my wrists together. My fingertips are pointing towards my legs. I'm leaning side to side. Okay. We do like a mini half circle with the entire, basically the range of motion of like your fingertips. Okay, flip them. Lean opposite way. Lean. Lean. Just rolling my fingers. palms facing away. This hand's going on top. Let's hold hands. Oh, I'm gonna punch you in the belly button. No, going up to your chin. Psych, and we're going out. The arm that's on the bottom is gonna rotate this top arm. So you feel that forearm stretch. I always try both ways to see which one gives me the resistance I want. Okay, coming out, down, away. Same thing. Palms here, now the opposite arm is coming over. Oh, going for the belly button, the chin. Oh, it's going out, and we're rotating. Getting that forearm stretch. Okay, just come out of it. Right now we're gonna do our back stretches. It's our last stretches. Oh my god, look at all this hair on me. Okay. Put here, crossing, opening up your chest, and take some breaths here in this resistance pose. Chest open, chest high. Active resistance with our arm pushing our quad away. Other side. Chest open. Taking some breaths. Okay, last one. Basically, we're throwing one leg over. My arm is reaching to the other side and I'm turning my body. If you're here and you're just kind of looking the other way, that's fine. But if you can turn, try to drive this opposite shoulder down into the ground, really get that full trunk rotation. Other side. I'm so tired. Okay, throwing our leg, reaching opposite, looking opposite, driving this opposite shoulder into the ground. Get that full rotation wherever you may feel it. You should not feel any pain. Don't force your body where it cannot go, or it should not go. All right. Oh my goodness. I'm exhausted. Those active stretches, they be killer. All right, great job. Great job, everybody. Anybody who's followed along, anybody who's gonna follow along later, I appreciate you. I'm excited. I'm exhausted from, like, at the end of our stretches for splits, we do our splits pose stretches, and those are exhausting for me. But active stretching in general, it is a workout. You may be sweating, you may feel very, very warm. You know, that's the whole point. We want to keep our body warm, we want to keep our body loose and engaged. We should be activating things the entire time. And yeah, and just remember, with all these stretches, it's not about the aesthetic, it's about your own personal journey. So listen to your body, make sure you're hydrating. You should not feel any pain, and don't worry so much about comparing yourself to others, right? As long as you're feeling that resistance, you know, listen to the form that I'm saying out loud, and then listen to your body. Yeah, make sure you guys can do these stretches as well. You know, I don't want anybody's hips popping out. So thank you guys so much for being here. It's Tuesday, so I will be on for piano practice tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be working in the meantime. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Yeah, I hope you guys feel loose, ready to take on the world. I'm excited to go make some food because I'm starving. Yeah, we made it. We did it. If you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe. We have a lot of stuff going on, so definitely join us in it. And a lot more stuff coming in February as well. Some secretive stuff.